Here.
I want to make sure this is on. Councilmember Colbert. Councilmember Wilson.
Here.
Councilmember Bass.
Here.
Councilmember Anderson. Councilmember Gregory. Here. Councilmember Kerstetter. Councilmember Evans.
Here.
Councilmember Stam.
Here. So stand for the invocation and a pledge of allegiance, please.
Dear God, we come before you tonight with gratitude. We thank you for being God of love, who is with us in this very room. We thank you for all these elected and appointed city staff who has been called to lead Valley Center community. Lord, I ask your blessing upon oversight that they might follow your will as they survive. Lord, we are celebrating those fall festival this week. All of us, the residents that fun and food. About the evening, bless us and bless us instantly. Praise Jesus.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please be seated. Okay, we'll get to approve the agenda. Any comments or questions?
Move to approve the agenda as presented.
Second.
Have a motion second to approve the agenda. Any further discussion? All in favor, signify by raising your right hand. All opposed, same sign, motion carried. Moving on to the minutes, council minutes of September 3rd. Is there any changes or discussion on that?
Move to approve the minutes of September 3rd, 2024 regular council meeting as presented.
Second. Have a motion and a second to approve the minutes of the September 3rd meeting. Any further discussion? All in favor, signify by raising your right hand. All opposed, same sign, motion carried. Moving on to the presentation and proclamations, and we have none tonight. Moving on to the public forum. Is there anyone here that'd like to address the council on any item that's not on the agenda? And I do have one. Mr. Johnson? Just state your name and address, please.
I'm coming again, it was once on the agenda about a year and a half ago. We had an issue with the stormwater easement in our neighborhood where I was told that everybody it was today, it's not changed. I've been in conversation with Councilmember Bass. I have an email that states the ordinance is set not to set a precedent we have. They have nothing to run it. So I talked to Clint, he said I need to come back in front of council again, so we can look at getting that fixed, because it doesn't look right, it doesn't look the same. You have some that's 10 foot, then you have some that's butted up against each other. But with all the stuff that's going on, we're having burglars in our neighborhood, we're having other things go on. Those big open spaces, that's where they're going. So as a public safety part, and then also with the bugs and the rodents, we're having to set stump traps and everything else in the neighborhood because of the bigger open spaces that they live in. So I am asking the council to please look at that easement, because there's no maintenance been done to those easements. It's homeowners that have them. So let us have that property back.
Any comments?
Can't comment.
Okay. Well, thank you, sir. We'll look into it. Moving on to appointments, no appointments tonight, so moving on to old business. Ordinance number 1412-24, loan agreement between KDHE Water Treatment Plant. Clancy, you,
This is just the second reading for the loan we discussed several weeks ago, $19 million loan for the SRF loan for the water treatment plant. First reading was September 3rd. Tonight is the second reading. Here to answer any questions you might have.
Make a motion to approve ordinance 1412-24, entering into loan agreement with KDHE for water treatment plant for second reading.
Second.
have a motion and a second to approve ordinance 1412-24, second reading. Any further discussion? All in favor of the motion, signify by raising your right hand. All opposed, same sign, motion carried. Moving on to new business. Item A, Resolution 761-24, Geo temporary notes.
Mayor and council members, thank you for allowing me to speak tonight. Clayton Kelly with Piper Sandler. I was here a month ago. That allows for what we call a sale resolution to allow us to move forward to receive and lock in the final interest rates for the temporary note financing to finance Harvest Place, Prairie Lakes, Seneca Street, and Riavella paving and drainage projects. A week ago, we went to secure final interest rates for that. I think when I talked last month, we were kind of expecting somewhere around low 4% interest rates for that financing. We've continued to see interest rates improve since a month ago. And we were able to actually lock in a 3.5% rate.
Any questions or comments?
Motion to accept the bid, that the city's execution of the bid form be ratified and confirmed, and Resolution 761-24 regarding Geo temporary notes, Series 24-1 be adopted.
Second.
Have a motion and a second to approve the resolution 761-24. Any further discussion? All in favor of the motion, signify by raising your right hand. All opposed, same sign, motion carried. Moving on to item B, acceptance of the Mize proposal for the overlock grading and erosion control at Harvest Place.
This is for for the rough grading and drainage.
Any questions or comments?
Make a motion to accept the bid and alternate one for overlot grading and erosion control for Harvest Place from Meese in the amount of $3,367,688.43.
Second.
Approval, motion and a second to approve the agreement with Mize Construction on Harvest Place. Any further discussion? Yes.
This is accepting the bids with the alternate. The agreement is on the next item of the agenda.
Oh, okay.
There's actually two different ones.
We're just bidding for the,
Accept the bid.
accept the bid. Okay. To accept the bid, any further discussion? All in favor of the motion, say for raising your right hand. All opposed, same sign, motion carried. Moving on to item D, no, item B, C, excuse me. Approval of the agreement with Mize Construction on Harvest Place.
That's the one you just did. We're now on to.
Which one didn't I do?
No, we just did B.
We just
For the
did B.
alternate one.
Gotcha.
Now we're
My
on C.
mistake on that one. I apologize.
So this one is just for these.
Any questions, comments?
Move to approve the agreement with Meese for improvements in Harvest Place in the amount of $3,367,688.43 and authorize mayor or city administrator to sign.
Second.
Have a motion and a second to approve the agreement with Mize Construction for Harvest Place. Any further discussion? All in favor of the motion, signify by raising your right hand. All opposed, same sign, motion carried. Moving on to item D.
So this is the. I will note that this contract does also include construction.
Any questions or comments?
Make a motion to approve the agreement with SEH for professional services Harvest Place in the amount of $368,300 and authorize mayor or city administrator to sign.
Second.
Have a motion and a second to approve the agreement with SEC on Harvest Place. Any further discussion? All in favor of the motion, signify by raising your right hand. All opposed, same sign, motion carried. Moving on to resolution 762-24, Trails and Drainage Petition.
This resolution is for drainage improvements for phase one of Trails In. Resolution outlines the estimated costs and the property assessment.
I move to approve resolution 762-24 authorizing construction and financing drainage improvements to the Trails End subdivision.
Second.
Have a motion and a second to approve resolution 762-24, Trails and Drainage. Pardon me? Oh, Clint, Scott.
So under item 1D, it says 33% of this assessment is spread among, quite a few lots, and then 67% is spread among 7 lots. Are those lots just way larger, or? Okay. Those are the commercial lots? That would be on that corner at 85th and Seneca. Okay, gotcha. Thanks.
Just north of the school.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, any other discussion? All in favor of the motion, signify by raising your right hand. All opposed, same sign, motion carried. Moving on to resolution 763-24, Trails End paving petition. Questions or discussion?
Move to approve Resolution 763-24, authorizing construction and financing paving improvements to the Trails End subdivision.
Second.
Have a motion and a second to approve resolution 763-24, Trails End paving petition. Any further discussion? All in favor, signify by raising your right hand. All opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Moving on to resolution 764-24, Trails End water petition.
This is the last of three petitions.
Move to approve Resolution 766-24, authorizing construction and financing of water improvements to the Trails End subdivision.
Second.
Have a motion and a second to approve resolution 764-24, Trails End water petition. Any further discussion? All in favor, signify by raising your right hand. All opposed, same sign, motion carried. Moving on to approval of the engineering agreement with SEC on Trails End.
This is our design agreement, phase one of Trails End. This includes built on Chisholm Creek Terminal, and trail.
Any discussion?
Move to approve agreement with SCH for Trails End development in the amount of $191,200 and authorize mayor, city administrator to sign.
Second.
Have a motion and a second to approve the engineering agreement with SEC of Trails End. Any further discussion? All in favor, motion signify by raising your right hand. All opposed, same sign, motion carried. Moving on to traffic study for Seneca Street, PEC.
For you is a contract for traffic study at Central Street Trail. This is
Dan?
Is this cost of this study go into the TIF? Is this still coming out of that? Or is that something that is on the city? Okay.
It's part of the roundabout.
I just want to make sure it was rolled into that. Okay.
Yes, of course.
Okay. This is something we're required to do? Is this something we just decided to do, or is this is a requirement, right? If I understood correctly, just to clarify. Yeah. Gotcha.
Dina?
Are we going to really look at a roundabout at Fifth and Seneca? It's in here. Right, well, that's in there too. They are both listed. It's a conceptual design, but I had not heard anything about that possibility.
Ben?
Gina, I asked about this today when I talked to Brent about it, and this study was needed by PEC for the design of the Tanner Trail and Seneca intersection. There wasn't any mention of that. I don't know if that's something that they need for future expansion, but this study was to design that roundabout for that intersection, was my understanding.
Well, I thought about that, but I was thinking if we ever do get around to that point, we'll probably have to study it again. Okay. Thank you. Right, yeah, that's in there too. And that one I knew about.
My notes, where do you see that?
It is on page
3C.
124. Under D, scope of services, down at the bottom of the page, number 3. You're getting there. Yeah,
If
that
you keep going,
page.
I'm sorry.
That page. At the bottom.
Possibly that's a typo, maybe?
I'm thinking that's a typo, because right up here at the beginning, project deliverables. That's gotta be a project description. Project should consist of field survey, traffic analysis.
That's a typo. How do we resolve it for this?
Major PEC. I see you're talking about the bottom of page 2, item 3C.
Yes.
This is only looking at roundabout as a possibility. Both references to the project of Seneca from Fifth to, I think that is just, if that helps.
So can,
You don't need to analyze the Fifth Street intersection in terms of roundabout application.
okay, so we should approve this as amended?
So to amend that one line from Fifth Street to Tanner Trail.
Yeah, okay.
When we say this, should we say including the amendment to 3C?
Well, I think that or right, just quite through that.
I think it might be better if we had an amendment.
Is this on a time crunch that needs, or would 2 weeks hurt?
I don't know the answer to that, but I know they're trying to move quick on all this. That's what
Hmm.
it might be a strike. There might be less.
Yeah, I'm not uncomfortable with that.
Yeah, I'm fine with striking it.
Okay.
It's the only one I saw. I'll give it a whirl here. Move to approve contract with PEC for traffic study and design at Seneca Street and Tanner Trail in an amount not to exceed $66,000 with the amendment that 3C read Seneca and Tanner Trail and authorize mayor and city administrator or city administrator to sign.
Second.
Have a motion and a second to approve the traffic study for Seneca Street. Striking item, what was that, 3C?
Yes.
3C from the contract,
I think I'm just amending it.
Just a minute.
just amending it? Okay. Any further discussion? All in favor signify by raising your right hand. All opposed, same sign, motion carried. Moving on to the approval agreement with Sedgwick County regarding a ballot drop box.
Good evening, Mayor, members of council. We have before you is an agreement with Sedgwick County. For the ballot box we have here in the front of the building, they're going to be moving it right up here to our, closer to our driveway here to make it more accessible.
They're gonna move it over here on this side?
Yeah, we're kind of by the handicap stalls, right by on the south side of the building.
Make a motion to approve the agreement with Central County for the placement of the ballot drop boxes and authorize city administrator to sign.
Second.
Have a motion and a second to approve the agreement with Sedgwick County regarding the ballot drop box. Any further discussion? All in favor of the motion, signify by raising your right hand. All opposed, same sign, motion carried. Okay, request for ordinance 1706-01 waiver.
Mayor, Councilman, in the fact we have a letter request from Wayne Norman requesting a 60-day waiver to live in an RV on their property while they make changes and get appropriate certificate of completion from their living quarters and then they back into their residence.
Robert?
Do we feel that the changes needed to meet code are going to be done in that 60 days? Motion to approve waiver of ordinance 17.06-01 for Wayne Borman for a period not to exceed 60 days beginning September 17th, 2024.
Second.
Have a motion and a second to approve the ordinance request waiver, ordinance number 17.606-1. Any further discussion? All in favor of the motion, signify by raising your right hand. All opposed, same sign, motion carried. Okay, approval request for the proposal RFP for audit services. Questions?
Motion to authorize the RFP for financial auditing services.
Second.
Have a motion and a second to approve request for the RFP for audit services. Any further discussion? All in favor of the motion, signify for raising your right hand. All opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Moving on to finance review.
General fund, are trending well above revenues for the year. Right side, you kind of start getting into expenses. Contractual services. Involvement. Purchase service. Credit card transactions. All errands. 4%. Errands. Around 66%. Approximately.
Motion to accept and file the August revenue and expense report.
Second.
Have a motion and a second to approve the finance review report. Is there any further discussion? All in favor of the motion, signify by raising your right hand. All opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Moving on to item N, council discussion on the Valley Center Cemetery. We have 3, 4 people from the public, 3 people from the public that'd like to speak. I'd like you to speak first. Come up, state your name, address, and we'll give you 3 minutes to talk since there's 3 of you there to go. So, Steve, you're the first one on my list here. Nikki?
Council, thank you for allowing me to speak. I'd like to add to what Steve said. For me, it's simple contract law. We had a contract in 2011 and the city violated the contract. But we're dealing with very strong cultural and religious issues regarding the burial of our deceased loved ones. And I'm not sure that it's been thoroughly thought through by the council. We live here. We bought our plots under the proper terms at the time. Both of my parents passed in 2015. Again, we lived outside the city limits. They lived outside the city limits, but we did all of our shopping, banking, church going here in Valley Center. And then when Steve and I got married, we bought our house here in 1986. And we still live here. We are still residents. We didn't move outside the city limits. And we owned the plots. And you buy your plots for your immediate family, which makes sense. And it's part of our cultural upbringing to take care of our parents and to take care of their needs and to place them properly in burial. We have no intentions of relocating. We love Valley Center. We love the people in it. And as a school bus driver, I service those families outside the city limit. They're good people. They live here, work here, shop here. They contribute so much to our community, even in tax dollars, but also as part of our community. And I would like to see them treated with more respect than they have been. We just felt like we were extorted, that our plot was held hostage until we turned over $800. It meant His name should not be on that deed. He did not pay for that plot. He had been dead a week. We paid for that plot. We paid that $800 as a resident with living within the city limits, and I think that's just wrong. In addition to the financial strain that you put on people, it's a very, very difficult time for families to go through. And his father-in-law suffered terribly in his last weeks. It was an ongoing nightmare. And the way this was handled by Amanda was cold. It was heartless. And it just added to the emotions that we were already going through. And I would respectfully ask that as a resident of Valley Center, that you would return that money to us and put the deed back in Steve's name, where it was properly purchased. Thank you very much.
You may.
Stein Kirshner at 1050 West 77th Street North, Valley Center. And my family, which grew up in Valley Center, and there's all Valley Center, Valley Center citizens. All on Fox County. So that was 12 lots. And I've won my oldest brother, just like I did. So therefore, he knew. So I had 2 extra lots. Devastate kind of a situation. And I just think that people who bought those for that thing, I could be our chief grandfather. They shouldn't be. They want to move somewhere else in the cemetery. They would have to. I think that's wrong. That you're not doing service to the Valley Center citizens. There's many families that are sitting right up there, been here at Valley Center for years, you know, farm. And there's a family popped out of it, have animals and buried out there. I own that. I mean, on the lot. They're already buried out. Like that extra money. There are some that didn't carry out the mission and didn't take it back after that. I see.
Ma'am. No, just. Okay, I'm gonna say a little speech I've been thinking about since I talked to Steve. There's a couple that moved into Valley Center, 1953, raised 10 kids, all through Valley Center High Schools. One of those kids was a member of the Valley Center Ambulance Service, Planning Commission, councilman, and 8 years as mayor at the time. At the time of their deaths, nobody was more surprised than me to find out that my folks were not residents of Valley Center. But I understand the setup of the Valley Center Cemetery. It is a city cemetery. It's not a district. It's not a private cemetery. It's a city cemetery. I told whoever the administrator was at the time when we bought my mom's grave that if she knew she wasn't considered a citizen of Valley Center, she'd probably come back and slap somebody. But that's the rules. I don't know how the rules applied to those that bought them early. I guess, I read something, they read something in here. I read these things since Steve contacted me, and I still didn't see that where it said about heirs, family members are heirs. I don't know how I missed that, but I don't know how ordinance legally work.
But what I suggest,
Very.
I first heard of this issue. I have not.
Yes. Ben?
Clint. And Barry, when you look at that, you also have Resolution 45904, which was effective in 2004. So when you look at that, look at Section 2, and it talks about the lot purchase for a resident or for all others. So that's something you need to look at. And in addition, it's kind of a combination of Ordinance 106303 and then also Resolution 45904. They're kind of in conjunction with each other. Yeah, I'm just saying that Resolution 45904 was effective prior to 2011 and 04. So when you're looking at those, you got to look at both 106303 and 45904 together. And maybe they conflict. I don't know. I'm not a lawyer. So you just need to look at both of those because that's what was in effect at the time those lots were purchased. Yep. I would like to add. Just a discussion. Yeah. I would like to add my dad's getting older. I can't even imagine losing my father. So I can't imagine what you're going through. And I do feel for the situation and I feel for you. As far as another comment, Brent, I can say he wishes he could be here tonight. There has been a tragedy you may have read in the newspaper. I won't get into details, and he couldn't be here tonight. But I will say unequivocally, he is not trying to take money from people, and I want to make that clear. That's all I got.
I would respond to that.
Can we put this on a future council meeting after he's had time to look through these legal documents?
Yeah, Robert's got the question.
Oh, sorry.
Neil, just for my clarification, so when someone's purchasing a lot, they are purchasing a lot with a contract to purchase the burial site, correct? And then they're also then given the ordinance that goes along with that. That's not part of the contract, that's an ordinance, correct? two separate things. Ordinances can change, correct? Which also involves the fee schedule, correct?
Oh, well, actually, the resolution says so.
Okay, but it's a resolution nonetheless that can be changed at any time. I just want to make sure that the public understands, we're talking about two different things. You've got your contract for your burial spot. You paid for that. But there's also the ordinances you were also given. Ordinances can change at any time. There's no notification given by city, county, state. Whenever an ordinance is changed, it's up to you as a citizen to seek that out and know that knowledge. So unfortunately, I mean, in this case, I see that there was a fee that was done for the purchase, but then we have an ordinance. And in that, there have been changes to that ordinance multiple times. Sorry, sir, you're not on the agenda to talk. So I see your hand. So that's all I got, Mayor.
Thank you. I think that's probably a good plan to table this tonight, have Barry look at it, give us some direction. If it's acceptable to the council. We have a lot of questions. I had a lot of questions and I still have a lot of questions. And,
You actually looked in a lot and talked about
these ordinances, yes, these ordinances have been,
talked about not the door, but it was never actually
these ordinances have all been passed by the council. Maybe not this council, but councils in the past, or it wouldn't be an ordinance. It wouldn't be an ordinance. It wouldn't be an ordinance if it wasn't that way.
talked about it and we agreed on it, but it was never voted.
No. No. The ordinance has been signed by the mayor, whoever it was at the time, and Clint.
Nope, that's
Oh,
me.
that's Ben this time.
Yeah, it's been, 2 years ago, it was supposed to have been voted on, they never voted on it. That's what he
What?
It's enough. It's past ordinance, so. That's it. Thank you.
So in 2022, we updated and passed the ordinance that clarified all of this. So going forward, anyone that purchased after 22, it very clearly states, and it is understood that if you're not a resident, if you buy a plot when you're a resident, it doesn't matter where you live after that. You purchased it as a resident, you can be buried there. What we need to clear up, and we need to have Barry look into, is anything prior to 22 from the existence of the cemetery when it was created. And we need to get that legally hashed out of who all is involved. And Neil, do you know, I assume we have records of who all has purchased and the times they've purchased them. We should have that. That should be a matter of record. Okay. And I feel like a lot of this situation with the Hips family got exacerbated on social media, obviously. I feel sorry for their family. My father's buried there. My wife and I bought plots there also after his death. And going through a death is hard for anyone. And I know from my experience with our city staff, they did not mean, it may have been taken a certain way. I know that they didn't mean anything. I've never had anything or heard anything other than good things about Amanda. And I know there wasn't any malice or intent with anything that happened. And I want to apologize if there was anything like that. I think she was enforcing what our current ordinances are and what she's been told. And we just need to clear up anything prior to that. So we have stuff moving forward so we don't have this incident happen again with anyone. And there are clear rules. Anytime there's a death and you have a burial, you have a timeline, and it's very emotional for everyone involved. And I want to say I'm sorry to the family for that. And I know, but the social media blew this thing so crazy because there's so many people speaking that don't have no idea what they're talking about. And we can't come right out and talk. And I'm not going to get on social media and start a fight with people that I've never even seen before. So I asked Brent, and it had already been discussed to put it on the agenda tonight, but I asked for it to be on the agenda because I had actually brought this up in the past about people that had lived here. And the problem is you've got to have research, you've got to have documents, and that puts the onus on us if you just say, well, we lived here at this time. And that's, going forward, we know what the rules are. And I'll kind of go back to what Jet said. We have a cemetery district that is the city limits. We pay a cemetery fee on our taxes for that. So it's not fair to the people that are paying into that to have to pay the same fee as someone else when we're paying into those taxes when we live in Valley Center. So that was a kind of a sidebar to that. I know people that live near here are part of the community, and that's great, but you have to have boundaries for things like the cemetery for that reason when you're paying taxes to it. I would like to see us clear this matter up with this family. I think there's a lot of overlap on things and interpretation, and that's why we need to lean on our city attorney for that. But I know I speak for myself. I'm not going to speak for the rest of the council. There's not any intent, malice to that. We love our community. And we feel, I've lived here all but a handful of years of my life. So I'd like to see this getting taken care of, get it cleared up so that we have some information to give to anybody else that might be in this situation that purchased them prior to 22, if that wasn't made clear. And I know there's been previous staffs and councils that may have made exceptions. That wasn't us. So to say that so-and-so did and so-and-so did, we don't know about that stuff. So that's why we clarified in 22, so we had clear rules going forward. That's all I've got. Thank you.
Thanks, Ben. And I just have one more comment, and that's all I have, and it's that Facebook stuff. It got out of hand. It got rude to our staff. Our staff doesn't get paid to take that kind of criticism. That's what your council people are for. I hate to say that, but that's what I'm for. If you've got problems, don't take it out on our staff. Come and see us. And for God's sake, don't believe everything you see on that Facebook. My God, I couldn't believe how that got blown out of hand. I felt sorry for you guys. So we promise you we're going to look into it, and we'll get you the answers as soon as we can. It might be the next council meeting. We might have to put it off another one. It depends on Barry's findings and how deep he has to dig in statutes and stuff. But we will get you an answer, and we will get this cleaned up. Yes. Yeah, that was really too much. It was a hard pill for me to swallow when I got your message. So anyway, I guess if we don't have any action to take, we'll move on, but we'll get back with you. Moving on to staff reports. Oh, I got the consent agenda. Sorry, I didn't turn my page over already.
Move to approve the consent agenda as presented.
Second.
Have a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda. Is there any further discussion? All in favor of the motion, signify by raising your right hand. All opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Okay, now staff reports. There you go. Clint's on there for, that was good.
Good evening, again, Mayor and Council. I just wanted to give you a brief update on our tree planting portion of our project on Meridian. And I just really let you know that probably 1/3 half down there.
Robert?
Yeah, I want to piggyback on that, Neil. I really appreciate that, the hard work that it's taking to make sure that the trees are placed correctly, that we're working with the citizens on that beautification. I also want to give a huge thank you to our residents already beautifying their lawns that they have. I am seeing picket fences. I'm seeing rocks. I'm seeing flowers. I'm seeing irrigation. I'm seeing grass being planted in some of the areas that just didn't come back where we had planted the grass so far. So a huge thank you to the citizens to really taking ownership and beautifying that, especially with Fall Fest coming up, the parade being there. It's going to be really nice to have everybody lining the streets this year.
A lot of positive feedback.
Any other questions? Lloyd? Rodney?
I have a little more green project we have meeting today. This week, working on finishing up side floor. We have sections that have to be on. Business asset. Middle section. Going in the right direction. Almost the lowest of the end. Up there. Conservation efforts in the city.
With the Meridian project, Rodney, they're going to go have a southbound outside lane and a northbound outside lane while they're working in the middle.
Right now, what they're planning on doing for the middle section, the way the machine works. I'm trying to work that in, so they need to shut down complete, traffic on that side during the fall. So they're looking at a couple different options, right? The first one, a couple different corridors, build a nice flag. Allowed to their home. The way the machine works, very difficult to manage outside traffic as well, around the trucks before the machine. Now, during the meeting today, they did mention the possibility. Agreed that they're talking through the possibility of one solid board like that. Our neighbors, or anything, Saturday, shut down. That would be done.
Okay.
They are exploring many different options.
Ben?
Rodney, do we have, I don't know how much leeway, lead time we're going to have before, once they make that decision, before they're actually doing that. We have ways to put our communication sign, we just have one sign, electronic sign. Do we have ways of communicating that? I mean, not only to the homeowners along there, I know you've got an email database set up or whatever. Is there a way to communicate that to the people that drive that may not live along there? Like another project, starting at this time, it's going to be closed and. Okay. I just want to see some, I don't want to say better. I want to see some good communication with our residents. And I mean, it's an inconvenience anyway, and it's not that far to go around, but. Okay. Okay. Okay.
We're still probably 3 weeks, 2.5, 3 weeks away.
I think we can use our city social media to blast that and. Okay.
And Zach and I are working together on a letter. Letters.
Okay.
I know, working right in, did get an email yesterday, flashing beacons for this. They arrived, they're on their way, so here you get the date, once those are up and operational. And we're including on the side streets, they'll still be, that will be the head sites.
The banners and streetlights. Have you heard anything about the banners and
Well, the
streetlights?
latest is that we're still. Good news.
That's the news.
Anything else? Thank you, Rodney. Barry? Clint?
Did approve this week for Valley Center KS.
I have started kind of taking on the side projects for,
Just to take an analysis on.
I've got to start on the very first one. And kind of want to get in that show website. As of this morning, oh, sorry about that.
We did miss the cutoff date to cancel. We're going to use July. And at that point in time, we're going to on that same line of thought, you're going to see very well bonds coming in. What happens is you slowly draw down these funds. That's what I'm just There's something called Picture 5, that we are going to do. Picture 5, we're going to do. Right, let's say you have 1 million. Put it into the Picture 5 account. They will do is take the colors and send to So, all told, on the investment side, I thought there's going to be a lot of money there for very some. The next council meeting, I'm also going to bring like I said, though, there wasn't quite as much money as I was thinking, but we'll see. All these comments. After that conference, I went to meeting those students full, 90%. At least 20 basis points. Bottom the number of our local banks. We'll start to getting about 3.8. What is that? 1.9732. What does that all mean?
website, check it on the account, investments. I know that was technical, but I'll be happy to try to answer.
Any questions? It's not. Thank you. Chrissy? Now, somewhere along the line, somebody's got to say, good evening, Mayor and Council.
Good evening, Mayor and Council.
There we go.
I know that we will have another meeting, but it's not always conference, but this is just, that it is coming up on. Couple of you have been registered. Schedule, I do want to just point out, Thursday, October 10th, again, to our small business dinner. At the moment, 5 to 6:30. That same night, there is a conference at the Kansas Association at that same time. So I particularly found my thought that there are two different things outside of the business of the conference. Just want to remind you of that.
Thank you. Moving on to council. I don't have anything after tonight. This is, I think, been a productive night. So Ron's not here. Robert?
I'm good, sir. Thank you.
Clint?
I just want to thank Clint for pulling that out of the consent agenda and bringing it out. That's the more transparency, the better. And then is there any way, and we can talk to Brent when he gets back, the issue that Jeremy Johnson brought up earlier, is there any way to get that on a future agenda? Because this has been going on for well over a year. And if we can get a resolution, whether that's favorable or not, just maybe we can get a resolution and kind of put a close to that. So that's all I got.
Yeah.
I have nothing.
Gina?
I have nothing.
Chris?
I have nothing.
Matt?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Have a motion and a second to adjourn. Any further discussion? All in favor of the motion, signify by raising your right hand. All opposed, same sign. Meeting adjourned.
Oh, I need to.